What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. You guys already know what it is. It's draft season all year long, and today we have a Jacksonville Jaguars mock draft here for you guys. Now, if you are a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, consider sharing the video. The more views it gets, the more likely I am to make a Jaguars mock draft in the near future. And if you are a fan of the NFL draft, this is definitely going to be the channel for you, so consider subscribing. We are on the road to 500 subscribers as I'm recording. So, for the Jacksonville Jaguars, look, you guys have got to feel optimistic because they are heading in the right direction while everyone else in the AFC South is kind of heading in the wrong direction. And Doug Peterson is a coach who has proven that he can win, and he's done it with a franchise who, unfortunately, historically hasn't won a ton of games. So there should be a lot of optimism. Trevor Lawrence took a huge leap this year, and as long as they keep winning this division year after year, they're always going to be competitive in the AFC, and that's all you can ask for. So the Jacksonville Jaguars are in a good spot. And it's different this year because typically they're drafting a lot higher. Here at 24, it's a little abnormal, but we did simulate this part of the draft before us, and looks pretty normal for the most part. Unfortunately, Cam Smith, when I was looking at a cornerback, went right before us, and that's a guy that I really like at the cornerback spot. Now, taking a look at the options currently on the board, look, wide receiver we could take a look at, but Calvin Ridley's coming back. Christian Kirk did a great job in the slot this year, and I think even Zay Jones did a good enough job to keep his spot at wide receiver too. You guys can let me know about that in the comment section below, but he had some pretty big games for the Jaguars this season, and he really pays attention to the little details in his game. I mean, even down to his blocking, I feel like has been really solid this year, which is not something that all wide receivers are willing to do. So I think he's a really solid second option on the outside. They've got other weapons, like Calvin Ridley, who's going to be playing for them for the first time next season, and even Evan Ingram had a phenomenal season. So I am going to skip on Zay Flowers right there. I do feel like they're good with their weapons. Tackle. That's a position that I think I'm going to take a look at because Jawan Taylor is a pending free agent for 2023, so it is possible that he might not be coming back. So we would want to look at that right tackle spot. I know Walker Little is kind of doing his thing there on the left side. He needs a little bit more time to develop. But yeah, not sure if they're going to bring back Jawan Taylor, so we will take a look at that. But it won't be Broderick Jones right here. Joey Porter. I think this might be the pick right here, guys. Taking a look at my comment section in recent mock drafts, you guys all seem to love Joey Porter. Seems like a really popular dude amongst all the people watching my videos. So I think we are going to take him here. I think Osiris Torrance is also someone I'd heavily consider here at the spot here at 24. We could take a look to trade back, but this is just 15 picks is way too far down out of the first round. We are going to take Joey Porter here. Look, Tyson Campbell had a phenomenal season, one that I feel like was very underrated, didn't get enough respect this year. If he plays like that again next year and you bring in Joey Porter, you could have a solid cornerback room, for the next 5 to 7 years with those two guys on the team. Very interesting. You have guys like Darius Williams and Trey Herndon. They're not playing horrible, right? But you could definitely use some improvement, use some youth in that position as well. So we are going to go ahead and snag Joey Porter here. Ideally, I think I would have liked to get Cam Smith, but I'm not going to complain here. I think we got a good player here in Joey Porter for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Here in the second round, what could we do here? I know that center is a position that we could definitely improve. That was one of the weaker spots. I mean, the interior offensive line could really use some improvement. I think bringing in 1 to 2 players at that spot could definitely help out this team. So we could consider John Michael Schmitz. However, I do have some other centers rated above him. Interesting. Jahmyr Gibbs. This is one that I would consider because JaMycal Hasty is a free agent and you kind of want to pair ETN up with another running back to rotate. But I feel like, you have two sort of receiving backs. I think you kind of just need a pure runner like how JaMycal Hasty was, so I just don't feel like this would be a good fit because ETN kind of already plays a role that Jahmyr Gibbs would also be trying to play. Let's see. Very interesting. We could go ahead right here and take John Michael Schmitz. I don't think that would be a horrible pick. Taking a look at the other interior offensive linemen, I do like Joe Tippmann. I have him as my number 1 center this year over guys like Luke Weipler and even John Michael Schmitz. It's really all up to you guys, but according to this big board, John Michael Schmitz is there, and I don't think he's a horrible player. He's 320 pounds, so he's pretty big for a center. I do think that he does need to work on a couple of things, just like working on shifting his body and squaring up on his blocks. I don't think he does that consistently enough. as the other two guys I mentioned do. But John Michael Schmitz does have high praise from PFF, was graded 92.2 as the best center in all of college football. I don't necessarily agree with that, but we could use the upgrade at the center position. So, taking any three of these guys I don't think is a bad choice right here, but really just taking a look at all the players that are currently on the board, I don't see anyone else that would truly make an impact on this roster. So I think I am going to go ahead and take John Michael Schmitz here at the center position for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we're going to move on to our final pick here in the third round. So what options do we have here? Now, we talked about the potential of getting a right tackle, and DeJuan Jones is right here. Him and Darnell Wright are two of the top right tackles in this year's draft, and I really wouldn't mind taking him here. I mean, this is a guy that I'm really high on. I think this is a guy that should go much higher than the third round. And we could take him here. And again, the big reason why for this is because we don't know if Jawan Taylor is going to be returning this next season. So it could be an option to bring in a guy like DeJuan Jones, who's about 330 pounds. He does struggle blocking with guys who have more speed off of the edge. So hopefully he can adjust to that more. He might have to lose a little bit of weight. That wouldn't be a bad thing, just to be able to move a little bit quicker in terms of his lateral speed. So that could be an interesting one there. Luke Weipler is still here, but look, we have some really good guys down here too, like Jalen Jones, Clark Phillips, Andrew Voorhees. These are all guys that we would definitely consider, and if they're at different spots of the board, maybe we take them. But I do want to, mix it up a little bit here. So I am going to go DeJuan Jones right here because of that reason where we might lose Jawan Taylor. And, I make it a huge emphasis all the time where it's like, if it's not done already, I want to go out and protect the quarterback. And that's exactly what we're going to try and do here, right? Like Fortner, who is the current center for the team, he's had his struggles this year. Watching a couple of Jaguars games this year, he kind of is a liability at times, isn't the most solid blocker. And then DeJuan Jones, like I said, would replace potentially leaving Jawan Taylor on the right tackle spot. But I think Joey Porter was a huge pick right here. There's so much depth at the cornerback position this year. So if you Jaguars fans are concerned about missing out on some corners because you're drafting later in the draft compared to most other years, I wouldn't be too worried about it. There's a lot of corners in this year's draft that are very high quality players, and Joey Porter, hopefully you guys like it because the comment section has just been calling out his name recently. But like I said, making an emphasis to protect the quarterback and then also addressing that part of the defense that could also use a little bit more youth, a little bit more depth, and certainly a little bit more talent. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I think this would be a huge momentum boost for the Jacksonville Jaguars and their team. I think they get better with all three of these picks. And again, if you guys like the NFL draft, this is definitely going to be the channel for you. So consider subscribing. And until then, I'll see you guys all later. Peace.